Good morning, good afternoon. I'm Brian Manning, and this is the Asylum Answers Show. I'm going to answer your questions about winning asylum in America. Let me know what you want to know. Questions that you have about the asylum process, whether it's the asylum application, whether it's supporting documents, whether it's the most crucial thing, the most important part of all, preparation, or maybe what happens on the day of the interview. Let me know. Let me know what questions you have about winning asylum. But look, before you start dropping those questions in the comments, say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. Love to see where this community is at, this community of asylum seekers and those who are supporting them. Love to see where you guys are at. Say hello. Let me see where you're at. YouTube, good morning. We got Velvet Versa. Says, hey, Brian, long time no see. I have a question to ask you. Nice, good to see you. We got Yelenong on YouTube says, hi, Brian. Good morning. Good morning. We got Ahmed on 123 says, hi on YouTube. Good morning. We got Miriam Sese says, hi, Brian on YouTube. Good morning. Good morning. Or good afternoon, depending where you're watching. Where you guys at? Say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. TikTok, how are you doing? We got hello from New York, says Nani Best. Nice. NYC, the greatest city in the world, as they say in Rent. Um, okay, Naksaraju says I missed my interview. What's next? Okay, we're gonna get to that. I'm gonna address that in just a second. Rhyme says hello from DC. I love DC as well. I've spent 3 stints of time in the DC area, like in Northern Virginia, when I was a diplomat and working for the Department of State, and I had like training, long-term training for languages and functional job training stuff in like Northern Virginia next to DC, and some of it at the actual State Department in DC for a few different things. But I love it up there. I love DC. DC is one of my favorite cities in the world. New York is as well. We got Panama City Beach, Florida. Good morning, says Muchi Hongwei. Hongwei. That reminds me of Hwange in Zimbabwe. Where are you from, Muchi? Where's that name from? I'm curious where that name is from. Siraj says, do you have an office in New York too? No, but it doesn't matter. We have tons of clients in New York. We help people all over the country. Look, and then Weturu Hugh wants to know, do you have an office in San Francisco? No, but it doesn't matter. Um, uh, doesn't matter. We help people all over the country. Okay, we're based in Texas, but look, this is the beautiful thing about immigration law is that it's different than a lot of other areas of law. If you need like a family lawyer to do like a divorce, or if you have like you need a criminal lawyer, for example, you would need to hire a lawyer that is in your state, licensed in your state. But it's not like that with immigration. With immigration, because it's what's considered federal law, you can have a lawyer help you who's anywhere in the country. As long as that lawyer is a licensed lawyer in any state, they can do immigration law in every state. And so my like I it doesn't matter, like I'm based in Texas. I have lawyers that are in Texas. I have a lawyer in Arkansas. Where else do I have lawyers? I have lawyers in several places. And it doesn't really matter because they can do cases, we can do cases in all of the states. Okay, we have lots of clients in New York, lots in San Francisco. Um, those are two of our biggest areas for clients in like California, New York, and Texas are our three, and Florida. Sorry, those are our four big sort of client bases. But also around Chicago, we got a lot. Atlanta, Denver. So we help people all over the country. If you want to learn about that, if you want to talk with us about whether we might be able to support you, then it all, oops, wrong, that was wrong language. It all starts with a consultation. Go to winasylum.com and you can schedule from that page a consultation to talk with one of our asylum professionals. We want to get to know you. We want to understand your situation, understand your case, and then we'll analyze it. And we'll tell you whether we think we're in a position to support you. If we think that we are, we're going to tell you how or exactly what we're going to do, what the concrete steps that we will take are to give you the strongest possible chance, the highest possible chance of winning your case. All right. That's what we want to do. So you can schedule a consultation at winasylum.com. Go to WINASYLUM.com to schedule a consultation today. Good morning, good afternoon over on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok. Hello, hello. Good to see you. Say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. I'll love to see where you guys are at. All right. Muchi says, "Yep, Zimbabwe, you nailed it. Nice, nice. I've been there. Beautiful country, beautiful country. Perfect weather. It's always like 70 degrees or something. It's beautiful there. Oh, nice. We got my sister signed her contract. Hopefully, your team can help her. Her name is Maria Infante," says Kira. Thanks, Kira. Glad to hear it. We appreciate her trust in us, and we look forward to supporting her and helping her present the strongest claim possible. Uh, what's the chance of being detained if you came on the visa, overstayed, and waiting for a USCIS interview? Good question. The question is this: how high is your risk of being detained if you came to the United States on a visa and you applied for asylum and now you're waiting for your asylum interview? It's pretty low. The risk is pretty low. As long as you don't have a criminal background, a criminal history in the United States, then I think your risk of being detained under these circumstances is quite low. I don't think that ICE is probably going to be out looking for you in particular, targeting you in particular. Um, Generally, the policy of the government has been to let someone like this have their case run its course, okay, and get to have their asylum interview, and then a process. If they don't have success there, then have a process in immigration court and not detain them. With this administration, you never know for sure. There is some risk. I gotta say there is some risk, but I think under this circumstance, I think it's quite low. I think it's so low that you should try not to worry about it. Okay. Miski Torre says, "Do you accept asylum seekers coming from Africa?" Absolutely. Hold on. You can see behind me, I've got in my little YouTube studio, I've got a decent amount of African swag. I love Africa. I've been several times. I've got very personal attachments to Africa, and I know the continent well. I know Miski Toure. Where are you from? Toure sounds like it's Central or West African, right? Um, I know. I know the Democratic Republic of Congo probably better than I would have to say, better than just about any other immigration lawyer out there who's not from there. And we've had a lot, we have tons of clients from Nigeria. We know those cases really well. We've had success in those. We've got a lot of clients from Cameroon, a lot of clients from Kenya, a lot of clients from Southern Africa, like Zimbabwe, Zambia, um, South Africa as well. So yeah, we know Africa well. I love helping people from Africa. All right, where are you from? I want to know, Missy. Sorry, Miski. Where are you from? What country are you from? I'm just curious. All right, let's say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. Let's go back to YouTube. Good morning. All right, what do you want to know about winning asylum in the United States? Um, uh, Dunya W4G says hello. Glad you're here. Good to see you. Hey Brian, do you guys have an office in Florida? Says Danali 6653. No, but it doesn't. We have lots of clients in Florida. It doesn't matter where you are. We're based in Texas, but it doesn't matter. We help people all over the country, including Florida. We got lots of clients in Florida. We should talk. Good morning. Good morning. B Wally Sampa says good morning. Hello. Good to see you. Good morning, Brian from Arlington, Virginia. Leonardo Silva says nice. Yeah, Arlington. Yeah, I spent time in Arlington. I spent 6 months one time well, twice in Arlington. Crystal City. Wait, is Crystal City actually part of Arlington or is it its own city? I can't remember. I think Crystal City is a neighborhood in Arlington, right? But then I also spent time, like 8 months or 9 months one time in Arlington near like the Virginia Square Metro. I love that area. It's a great area. I love DC in that area. I'm watching from Philly, says Mariama Sase. Nice. Philly. My Dallas Cowboys beat your Philadelphia Eagles yesterday in football, in case that's of interest to you. All right. Good morning from Colorado. Dahlia Hazem says, nice. Chicago, says Biwali Sampa. Awesome. I love Chicago's cool town. Colorado, lovely. Love the weather up there. I like cooler weather, so that's nice. All right. Z Desai says, good morning. For someone who applied on 29th October and completed their biometrics today, when can they expect their interview to take place? Is USCIS still using LIFO? Yeah, there's a good chance you're going to get your interview notice in the coming days or week or so. Yeah, and that your interview will be in the next several weeks. There's a good chance of that. So the question though is this: is USCIS still doing that thing where they are giving out interviews super quickly to people who apply for asylum? Yes. Most people who've applied for asylum in the last about year now have been getting their interview right away within, on average, probably a month and a half of applying for asylum. Sometimes it's even quicker. We've had clients who have actually had their interview 3 weeks after applying for asylum. There's some cases that slip through the cracks, such that not everyone is getting their interview right away, but most people are. And yes, it's still like that. It's still under the what they call the last in first out policy, and they're still able to actually do that policy because no one's coming to the border, meaning asylum officers are not being pulled away from asylum interviews to focus on what are called credible fear interviews. That's not happening. So they're able to focus on asylum interviews. So there's lots of capacity. They're able to keep scheduling, quick. So you got to be ready. I hope you're ready. Asylum seekers, if you're applying now, I hope you're ready to move quickly. I hope you have an asylum lawyer helping you to present the case on paper. But the most important thing is preparation. I hope you have an asylum lawyer who's doing a mock interview with you, a full-scale practice interview, and a follow-up debrief session. That's what we do with our clients. It's the key to the whole case. It's the most important part of the whole case, the preparation, the practice for the interview. Uh, all right. Hey, Brian, okay. I had my interview on October. Leonardo says, I had my interview October 23rd. Arlington, Virginia. Officer said they'll mail me the decision. I received an email saying we have taken action on your case, but it is still decision pending. If you're highlighting for me the disconnect between the email that says we've taken a decision and the my USCIS status that says decision pending, don't worry about it. These updates, whether by email or my USCIS, are pretty much meaningless. You cannot count on them. They're not faithful. They're wrong all the time. There's no way to know what the status of your case is. They may have made a decision and you will receive the decision in the coming days, or they might not have. It may still be pending. Unfortunately, there's no way to know based on what you've said. And these updates, it doesn't really mean anything. You can't trust them. All right. All right. Nice. Denali 6653. I think the risk of traveling under this circumstance internally in the United States, as long as you don't go near a land border, is low. I think the risk is low, such that I would, if I were in your shoes, I would keep doing it. All right. But look, Denali, have you considered suing the government? Or Denali, have you considered suing the government to force your asylum interview? You should think about it because since you've been waiting for so long, you're in a strong position to have success with that kind of lawsuit, with a mandamus lawsuit. And the sooner you get your interview and your decision, the better your chances for success. Which raises the question. The question is this: why is it better to get your interview sooner rather than later? Look, the sooner you get your interview and your decision, the better your chances for success. Why is that? With more time that passes, okay, with every passing month, and for sure with every passing year, the asylum officer is simply more likely to review your claim and say, yeah, I get it that some bad things happened or whatever, but that was a long time ago. Why do you think that now, after all this time, you're still at risk? Why would they still want to harm you now? That's just the way that asylum officers tend to think, I promise you, okay? They're just more skeptical. With more time, it's harder to convince them that you're still at risk, okay? Also, conditions in your country could change in a way that undermines your case. They could actually get better, or they could look like they're better. There could be some reports that indicate to the officer, oh, it looks like things are better, therefore you're not at risk, denied. But the most important thing right now is the Trump effect, okay? Approval rates have declined precipitously under Trump. They're going down. I expect this to continue happening. I think with every passing month that Trump is in power, approval rates are going to go down. If you take no action and you get called for your interview randomly, organically, 2 years from now, 2.5 years from now, you're going to be facing a very, very difficult environment when the approval rate is probably almost certainly going to be much lower than it is right now. It's better to have your interview now in the coming months by suing with a mandamus lawsuit to force them to give your interview now when it's just going to be a higher chance to win for all these reasons that I've just explained. It's going to be a much higher chance for success if you do your interview and get your decision now than if you don't take action. It's as simple as that. We look. I want to tell you. I want to tell you that before I say this, let me tell you that um, past results don't guarantee future success. Your results may vary. Every case is unique. We filed over 200 of these lawsuits, these mandamus lawsuits, and we have not lost a single one yet. Okay. We've not gotten a single one of these dismissed. Okay. These things work. This tool, this mandamus lawsuit to force your case forward, to get your stalled asylum case unstuck, it works. Our clients love it because it works. Okay. If you want to learn more about it, we would love to talk through it in a consultation with you. Okay. Tell you all about it and then learn about you and your case and see whether we think we're in a position to support you. And if so, explain exactly how, what that looks like. It all starts with a consultation. Go to winasylum.com, WINASYLUM.com. All right. Dunya W4G says, how long does asylum with immigration court take while being in detention? It's quick. It's usually like 2 to 4 months to get the whole asylum case done for someone who's detained. All right. Hi from Boston, says Radfar. Nice. Good to see you. It's me, Z22. Hey, good to see you here. Someone applied on October 29th, had their biometrics today. When can they expect their interviews? We already addressed that. Yeah. Yeah, good, very good chance. Very good chance you're going to get your interview very soon. All right. Okay, Radfar, pending asylum 10 years, interview July, still waiting for a decision. Also have an approved I-40 or I-140 with a current priority date. This is a rare case where I'm going to tell you, you should probably not do anything with your asylum case. All right. You should probably not push to get the decision. If you have an approved I-140 with a current priority date, that's probably a higher chance for success, right? Um, then, yeah, if you have a lawyer who's helping you with that case, with the business-based case, then I would talk with them about it and see what you can do to try to move that forward. But if you end up losing that case, if you get denied on that case, then we should talk about doing a mandamus lawsuit to force the government to give you a decision in your asylum case. So if the I-140 doesn't work out, call me and we can talk about suing the government to force the decision in your case. Okay, good luck with it. I hope the I-140 works for you. Redfire says, it seems USCIS isn't simply denying cases and sending them to the court these days. Do you think it's safe to try adjustment of status now? Well, what do you mean isn't simply denying cases and sending them to court? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Do you mean to say that it seems that they're simply denying cases? If they are doing that? You said is not or isn't, but look, it's not true. They're just denying all cases. People are still winning. We're winning cases. It feels like it's pretty much every day that we get a new approval notice for one of our clients. So it's not like oh, they're just denying all cases. It's not like that at all. All right. Both for asylum and for other types of cases, it's still possible to win. It's still possible to win. Dahlia says, Hazem says, I'm from Colorado. I recently filed for asylum, so I'm looking for your insight on what to expect next. Good question. The question is this. So what happens after you apply for asylum with USCIS? Look, these days, things are moving quickly for most people. Most people are getting their interviews pretty much right away. But first, before you get the interview notice, the letter that says, hey, your interview's been scheduled, before that, you're going to get a biometrics notice that says we need you to go to an office run by USCIS to do like fingerprints, take a photograph, that sort of thing for biometrics for like background check purposes. That notification and that appointment usually take place within a couple of weeks of applying for asylum. It's usually very quick. After that, probably within days or a week or two, you'll get a letter that is your interview notice that says your interview's been scheduled. Come to the USCIS office at X location address on Y date. There's a really good chance it will be very soon. Most people who've applied for asylum in the last year have gotten their interview within maybe a month and a half or 2 months of applying for asylum. So you've got to be ready to go, go, go. Okay. Hope you have an asylum lawyer who's helping you to put together documents to present your case on paper. So that's what we would do. If you wanted our help, we would put together what we call an asylum roadmap. It's like a map, a roadmap, in the sense that it helps the asylum officer to get to the answer yes in your case in the easiest way possible. Okay, that's one phase. But the most important part is the preparation. We're going to prepare you. We're going to do a full scale practice interview. This is the key to the whole case. The practice interview is the most important thing you can do to maximize your chances for success. We're going to do that. Then we're going to do a debrief session where we give you feedback and all of our best interview tips. And then we can represent you during the interview to make sure your rights are protected, make sure the officer understands your case. And officers just behave better and do a better job when there's a lawyer involved. It's as simple as that. All right. That's what you can expect after applying for asylum. And then you'll do your interview. And then usually 2 to 6 weeks later, you get the decision. That's where you're headed. Good luck. All right. Earbud says, I had my asylum interview in August at Newark Asylum Office. I just received a request for additional evidence. Is this a good sign? I might not have additional evidence beyond what was already submitted. Good question. The question is this. What do you do if you get a request for evidence from USCIS after your asylum interview, but you don't really have what they're asking for? Look, if you think that what you already provided in terms of evidence addresses like the issue, the thing, like let's say that, for example, let's say they send you a request for evidence that says, hey, you testified about, an attack that you suffered on X date. Send us evidence about that. Well, if you already submitted evidence around that attack and you don't have any more, you can't get any more, it's either it doesn't exist or you can't get it, then I would reply with a letter that says, look, the stuff that I submitted about this, ABC, I'm attaching it again here for your consideration, but I do not have anything additional to provide about this incident. And if you have like a reason why you can't get anything else, explain it. Or if they asked for something very specific and you can't get it, explain in that letter why you can't get it. Okay. Because you can win asylum without any evidence whatsoever. But if they ask you for evidence and you can't provide it, you need to explain why you can't provide it. If you have a reasonable explanation, then they're not supposed to hold that against you. Okay. And you can win based just on your testimony. So basically reply to their request for evidence. And if you can provide new evidence or provide what they're asking for, do it. If not, explain why you can't in a letter. And that's the best that you can do. Good luck. Okay. Nice. Nice. One of my, Onur Tagor, that sounds like a Turkish name, right? One of my friends claimed that he got into a line to get a green card without being heard in Biden's term. I know this sounds stupid. I just want to ask you if this is true. The question is this. Is it true that some people get to skip the asylum interview and go straight to getting a green card? Like they somehow get their asylum approved without an interview, or they just don't get an approval but get passed straight into the green card line, the permanent residency line? No, it's not true. It's not true. It's people who say that are either lying or they just don't understand. They've misunderstood what has happened or misunderstood the process. It's not true. It doesn't happen. If you apply for asylum, you're having an interview. You're having an in-person interview. Your attorney can participate virtually by video conference or telephone, but you as the principal applicant have to go in person. Everyone gets an interview. There's no exceptions. There's no carve-outs. You're gonna do an interview. Simple as that. All right. SDF, GSDFS DFG2. Good to see you here. Says, have a great day, Mr. Brian. If we showed WhatsApp or Instagram DM screenshots as evidence, is it usual the asylum officer would want to check them from our phone? Good question. And the question is this: is the asylum officer likely to ask to see your phone during the interview? Like, for example, if you have provided screenshots, like PDF screenshots of WhatsApp messages or Facebook messages or whatever that are threats or some kind of evidence relevant to your case, you provided those as evidence. At the interview, they're going to say, "Oh, well, let me see those on your phone. Open up your WhatsApp and show me those, you know, those messages that you sent by PDF as evidence." It's possible. I would say it's unlikely, but it's possible. There every once in a while, officers do ask to open up your phone and see stuff. So, you know, be ready to do that. If for some reason you don't have those on your phone anymore, like if you deleted the messages or something, you just need to be ready to explain that and to explain why. Okay. That's a general rule regarding evidence, is that if you can't produce what the officer is asking you about, if you don't have it and you can't get it, you just need to be able to explain why. As long as you have a reasonable explanation, they shouldn't hold this against you. Okay. That's how it works. Nice. Uh, nice. Okay. Okay. Nice. Thanks for the compliments, guys. Uh, Sending an email worked, and they sent approval for my friend. Thanks, Brian. Sajid Syed says, "I missed. What are you talking about, Sajid Syed? I don't. I'm not. I don't remember what you're talking about. Could you tell me what you mean by that? Give me the background. Give me the context." Um, he says all his preparation was done by your videos, so credit goes to you. Nice. Oh, nice. So your friend won Asylum, and they benefited from our YouTube videos. Awesome. Look, for those of you on TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, watching this, go to YouTube. Um, YouTube's where I have all my best stuff. Okay. I've got some tutorials and trainings and just all kinds of videos that are going to help you. Okay. Go to YouTube, search for Political Asylum Lawyers. That's the name of my law firm. It's the name of my YouTube channel, Political Asylum Lawyers. Go to YouTube and search for Political Asylum Lawyers and watch the videos. If you want to talk with us, if you're ready to see about possibly getting our help with your case, then schedule a consultation. Do that right now. You don't have to wait till this live is over. Go right now. Go to winasylum.com, WINASYLUM.com to schedule your consultation right now. What we call an asylum strategy session. Okay. Go to winasylum.com. Okay. Mariam says, my asylum application is pending for years now. What should I do? How many years? Mariama, how many years? Let me know. All right. Akash, my case is pending with New Orleans since December 2023. When can I expect the interview? Honestly, it's probably going to be several years because you are kind of one of those people who got left behind. Your case slipped through the cracks. Well, actually, it came in a time when most people were getting put into the backlog. Okay. I don't have it. I don't think you'll get your interview, honestly, anytime soon. Unfortunately, I do not have good news for you. I'm sorry to not have a better outlook for you. Okay. Yonata says, is 67% approval rate good for a judge? Yes, it's very good. It's very good. It's one of the highest ones you'll find. You're lucky. If you got assigned to an immigration judge with a 67% approval rate, you are very lucky. The average national approval rate in immigration court, I think it's 26%, if I'm not mistaken, or 22, maybe even something like that. I think it's 26%, according to statistics from like a few weeks ago. It's probably lower now. So yeah, 67%, you're very lucky. Yelinong, the decision pending back to application pending. No, don't worry about it. It doesn't mean anything. Those my USCIS status updates are worthless. Okay. They're not helpful at all. They're wrong all the time. Don't put any stock in it. Don't worry about it. Okay. All right. Barry wants to know, can you highlight the importance of psychological evaluations? The question is this: will having a psychological evaluation support your asylum case? And if so, how much? How important? How helpful is it? Yeah, it can help. Look, one of the things the officer wants to know about in your case is how bad was the harm that you suffered. Okay, how severe was it? And if you went through things that have caused you to continue to suffer psychologically or mentally, that's relevant. That counts as harm. And so, if what you went through in your country is still affecting you, and you can have a mental health provider explain that in a letter or in an evaluation, then yeah, the officer cares about that. They want to know about it, and it can help you. How helpful is it? Somewhat. It's not determined. Excuse me. It's not going to win you your case by itself. Okay. Look, evidence is good and helpful. Anything that supports your case or backs it up, you want to provide. It's good. You should do it. It can help, but it's not nearly as important as what you say. Okay. What your testimony that you give during your interview is the most important part of your case. And that's why the most important thing that you can do to maximize your chances for success is to practice your testimonies, to prepare and practice your interview. We do that through a mock asylum interview. And actually, we have a special service for this, just preparation. For people that didn't hire us from the beginning of their case to the end, and maybe they don't have enough either time or resources or money now to hire us for a fuller representation. We can do just the preparation. We do a mock asylum interview and then a follow-on debrief session, and we give them access to other training materials and preparation materials through our what we call the mock asylum interview experience. And you can learn more about this at asylumprep.com. 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 Okay. Uh, Alex Beatus is not happy with my current firm and would like to hire your firm. Been waiting since 2017 and most likely will need to update the case with current conditions Moldova. And also in 2016 May, I'll have 10 years. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, we should talk. We should talk. The question is this: how does it work if you want to switch law firms? You've been with a firm for a while, but you feel like you're not getting the support you need. They're not inspiring confidence that they're going to absolutely help you maximize your chances for asylum success. And you want to go with a different lawyer. How does that work? It's simple. There's no problem with changing lawyers. It's not looked at negatively by USCIS. It happens every day. It's easy. You just hire a new law firm and you tell the old law firm, hey, I hired someone else. They're going to reach out to you about, or you can reach out to them yourself about getting a copy of all of your materials, everything they've submitted on your behalf, everything they've received from the government. And you just start working with a new law firm. It's easy. And yeah, the new law firm should take over from there. So if you hired us, we would do what we call an asylum roadmap, where we're going to basically do a filing that supports your case on paper. And then before the interview, we're going to do our preparation, where we do a full-scale mock interview followed by a debrief session and give you access to exclusive, unique training materials. And then we're going to represent you during the interview to make sure your rights are protected and that you tell your story clearly and in a compelling way. So it starts with a consultation, right? You can schedule a consultation right now. We want to talk with you, get to know you, understand your case, see if we think we can help you. If so, we'll tell you exactly how. Schedule that consultation right now. Winasylum.com. 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 But look, Alex Bita, Moldova, раньше говорю по-русски, сейчас, к сожалению, нет. Забыл все. But yeah, I know Eastern Europe quite well. We've helped people from Moldova, and we would love to talk with you. You're in a very strong position to have success with a mandamus lawsuit to force your stalled asylum case forward. Since you've been waiting for so long, we should talk about that. Hope you'll call us or go to winasylum.com to schedule a consultation. Okay. If it's a no-go at the interview, can I apply for uh, cancellation of removal? I've BOY 4 years. I don't know what that means. You mean you have a child here? Is that what you mean? Also, no criminal background. Um, if you, if, excuse me, if at the time that you get the referral notice from the asylum office, you've been here for 10 years at that moment, then you could apply for cancellation of removal in immigration court, but you shouldn't count on that. You shouldn't count on winning that. It's super hard. Very low chance for success. And you have to show that your U.S. citizen child or spouse or parent would suffer extreme hardship if you were to be deported. And this is much more than just like, oh, they would miss me or they would be, you know, they would struggle without me. It's usually things like kids with a severe medical issue, things like that. I'm not saying you shouldn't consider it. You should consider it. But what I'm telling you is that you shouldn't count on it. The chances of having success with it are not very high. Okay. If I were you right now, I would just focus on winning your asylum case. Do everything possible to try to win your asylum case. Okay. All right. Nice. Oh, okay. So Jeed says, I asked you how to send an email, and you helped me. You helped me where to send the email. Nice. Good. Good. Uh, oh man. Danny says, Danny BK9UB says, if I get your services now and file for the mandamus lawsuit, how long do you think it will take to get the interview? We've been waiting for 9 years for the interview. Well, I think you're in an extremely good position to have success for us to win the mandamus lawsuit to get the interview scheduled. So look, the question is this: how long will it take to get your asylum interview if you hire my law firm to do a mandamus lawsuit to force your stalled asylum case forward to get your interview? On average, it takes us usually less than 2 weeks to file the asylum not the asylum application, to file the mandamus lawsuit. Okay, but then there's some sort of admin stuff that the court has to do some admin stuff first, and then we have to wait on them to do that, and then we have to send a copy of the lawsuit plus this document the court creates out to all the defendants. And from the time that they get it, that mailing, then they have 60 days to respond to the judge and tell the judge what their position on the case is. Usually near the end of those 60 days, they reach out to me and say, Brian, we don't want to fight this case. Or, well, they reach out and start negotiating, actually. And we usually end up with them saying, okay, we don't want to fight it anymore. We'll give you the interview. And that's how we win. And then we get the interview notice, but then there's some time between getting the interview notice and the actual interview date. So how long does it actually take, though? That's the process. How long does it take from the time you hire my law firm to the time that you get your interview? I don't know the exact statistic, but I would guess it's probably like 4 months on average is my guess right now. Probably about 4 months is my best guess. Three and a half, maybe four, maybe a little more, something like that. But if you do nothing, if you don't sue now, it's probably going to be multiple years, and then you'll get your interview 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years from now, when the chances for success are going to be much lower, I believe. So we should talk. All right. Uh, uh, all right. Santiago, no hay un paquete que ofrecemos que cubre tanto representación en usos como en la corte al mismo tiempo. No, son dos cosas separadas, apartes, lamentablemente. All right. Uh, Mark Zach 99 wants to know about, like, if you his question is this. The question is this. So yeah, most people are getting their interviews really quickly after applying for asylum these days. But what about the decision? How long does it take to get the decision after your interview? Well, I can't say with confidence that this is going to happen so quickly. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it's 2 weeks. If you live near the asylum office, usually they tell you to come back in 2 weeks to pick up the decision in person, and that'll be 2 weeks. But if you live farther away, or sometimes even if you live close, they say, don't come back. We're going to send it to you in the mail. That is going to be usually minimum 2 weeks, but usually more like 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. And honestly, sometimes it's more, sometimes it's several months or even longer. So, um, yeah, there's no way to predict this with a lot of confidence. It may take a while. All right. Uh, Santiago, yo no hago las consultas personalmente, lamentablemente. All right. Uh, pero espero que podamos ayudarle. Nice. Uh, Thanks, Mark Zach says, I hope you'll get well soon. You do not look okay. Please drink something warm and do not stress yourself and get some rest. I don't look good. I look bad. I look unwell. Thank you for your concern. Yeah, I had a cold. I'm pretty much over it now. I feel fine now, actually. I had a cold a few days ago. I felt kind of bad, but I feel fine now. But thank you for your concern. Appreciate it. Dahlia says, I filed my asylum. They went and sent it back saying it was incomplete, even though it was complete. Does this happen often? Do they sometimes send a rejection notice for incomplete, even when it's complete? I mean, yeah, sometimes. I would say it does not happen often. Not often, but sometimes, yes. Yeah. You need to apply again. Okay. And if you're now beyond the 1 year limit, then you need to apply again quickly, like very soon, within, I would say, try to do it within a month of having received the rejection notice, or else you'll have a problem with the 1 year filing deadline. Okay. Uh, Eric Martinez says, let's say I perform really well during the affirmative assignment interview. Is it still possible the officer can deny me just because, particularly in the Miami asylum office? Um, Hold on. Yeah, excuse me. Yeah. So the question is this: can USCIS deny your case even though you clearly deserve asylum? Like, even if you put together a good application, good supporting documents that show that you meet the eligibility requirements, and then you do a good job at your interview, you answer the questions clearly, you articulate your story in a way that shows that, yes, you deserve asylum, can they still deny you? Yeah, sometimes they do. Look, the stronger of a case you present, the harder it is for them to deny you, right? Even an officer who is anti-immigrant and wants to deny pretty much everyone is going to struggle to justify that denial and be less likely to even try to do so if you make it hard on them to do so. You make it hard on them to do so by presenting a great case. The stronger your case, the less likely they are to deny you, okay? But even still, it does happen, yes, even in very strong cases. Sometimes USCIS just makes a bad decision and denies people. Um, if it's egregious, if like you have a very strong case and they make a clear error in their denial, explaining their denial, then sometimes you can get that overturned. We've had success with this, with getting them to reopen cases or to do a motion to reconsider. It's basically like an appeal after you get a final denial from USCIS. We've had success with this twice recently. Actually, no, three times recently. Um, it's really rare. It's hard to win these things. Most lawyers don't even know about it because it's really rare. But you can sometimes get them to change their minds through this, what is effectively an appeal, but it's called a motion to reconsider. So yeah, the short answer is yeah. Sometimes they still deny people even though you have a strong, deserving case. All right. What's the situation of people applying for asylum because of their Christianity, specifically under Trump? I mean, it depends on where you're from, um, and what's happened in your particular case, and why it is that you in particular are at risk. So it's unfortunately it's not. I can't just say like, oh, religious asylum claims are good right now, or easy to win right now, or that they're bad or hard to win right now. It's not that simple. We need to talk with you, understand your particular facts, your particular case, and then tell you, then we can tell you what we think about your chances for success. But it all starts with a consultations. With a consultation, you can schedule that at winasylum.com. WINASYLUM.com. Again, winasylum.com. Okay, winasylum.com. Danny says, thank you for the response. We'll definitely want to get in touch with your firm. We live in Georgia and are Venezuelans. Do you have any experience with the asylum office here? Absolutely. Más de la mitad que nuestros clientes son venezolanos. Conocemos súper bien el contexto venezolano. Tengo un canal de YouTube en español. Se llama Asilo Aprobado. Otra vez, Asilo Aprobado. Yeah, we've got lots of experience with the asylum cases in Georgia. Your case, if you live in Georgia, your affirmative asylum cases with the Arlington Asylum Office in Arlington, Virginia. Yeah, we have lots of experience with that, including with Venezuelans there. And we win a lot of Venezuela cases. We know these cases really well. I've had a lot of success with them. Yeah. Okay, we should talk. Danny, do it. Call us now. In fact, Danny, you can go to asiloahora.com para consultar la consulta. Asiloahora.com para programar la consulta con nosotros. Asiloahora.com. Déjenos hablar. All right. Nice. Okay. Okay. I like it. I like it. Okay. Kizilaya Omero Kurdish case. Where was your question? Yeah, I didn't see your actual question though about what you're asking about. Okay. Leave it again. Leave your question again about the Kurdish case. All right. Okay. Mustafa says on TikTok, I had my asylum interview after 10 years waiting, and they're asking for a few papers, and they arranged another follow-up interview. Yeah, it's not. I wouldn't say it's common, but it's not super uncommon. Like it happens. So, um, yeah, let's. If you want help with that, we might be able to help you. Okay, if you need help packaging and explaining evidence, the additional evidence they've asked for, and then preparing for the interview. Well, what happens at it? Look, or what does it mean? The question is, let me address it like this. The question is this: why does USCIS sometimes schedule a second interview or a follow-up asylum interview? Sometimes the good news is sometimes it's super simple. It's easy. The second interview is just short, like 10 minutes, because the officer in the first interview just forgot something important that they should have done, like to ask you a certain question or to get you to sign a form. They just missed something, and their supervisor reviews the case file. It's like, oh, you forgot to do this. It's absolutely critical, even though it's not like a red flag. It's not a bad thing. It's just something that has to be done. So they call you back in to do it. Sometimes it's that. So that can be good news, right? It's not a big deal, not hard, not a bad sign. Sometimes though it's substantive, and they after looking at your whole case file, looking at the notes from the officer took, they're like, you know what? Actually, we need to ask some questions about maybe a potential asylum bar, or maybe just something substantive about an element of the asylum claim that they want to further investigate. And so they're gonna ask you questions. So it could be this follow-up interview could be 10 minutes, or it could be all day. There's no way to know going into it, so you just got to be prepared for anything. I would recommend that you carefully review again many times all the materials you submitted to the asylum office, and think carefully about what you said during your prior interview, because it's all going to be in play for this second interview. Okay, good luck. Nice. TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. For those of you who joined recently, I'm Brian Manning. I'm an asylum lawyer. I used to be an asylum officer with the government, but now, as an asylum lawyer, well, my law firm helps immigrants all over the country to secure their future in America through asylum. So, if you want to talk with us about how we might be able to help you, excuse me, then please schedule a consultation. Go to winasylum.com, WINASYLUM.com. winasylum.com. Again, that's winasylum.com. 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 We want to talk. All right. Kevin, have you ever won a case in North Carolina immigration court? Yep. Yes, we have. It's tough. It's tough to win there. Those judges are tough, but it's not impossible. All right. Um, why do you think I was scheduled so fast for my USCIS interview? I applied 20 days ago. My interview's on December 7th. That's normal. Santiago, that's normal. That's most people these days who are applying recently are getting their interviews right away like that. It's normal. So it's not a good sign for you. It's not a bad sign. It's just normal. It's just how it is for most people. Got to be ready. I hope you're ready, Santiago. Um, we still have time to do the preparation. Santiago, I know you already talked with my team, but if you want to hear more, if you want to read more and watch a video with more information about our mock asylum interview experience, puede ir a entrevistadeasilo.com para más información. Otra vez, entrevistadeasilo.com. Otra vez, entrevistadeasilo.com. All right. All right, Santiago, let's do it. Great. Santiago says, I will work with you. Great. Then presumably, if you already talked with my team, you have the contract. Let's do it. Let's do it. Get it signed today. I'm going to check today. I hope to see your name today on our new client list from today, Santiago. I hope you'll be the next one. I hope you'll go do it right now. Let's do it. Let's get it started. All right. The sooner the better. Look, Santiago, if you sign the contract today, we're going to reach out to you either today or tomorrow to put things in progress, to schedule your practice sessions. Okay. And the sooner we do that, the better. Why? Because then you'll have more time to review it. Because look, guys, when someone hires us to do preparation, or what we call the mock asylum interview experience, this is preparation for your asylum interview, we do 2 practice sessions. The first one is a 2-hour practice interview, mock interview, where we do everything, pretty much everything you're going to experience the day of your real interview. The second one is a 30-minute debrief session where we give you feedback, tell you how you did, tell you how you can do better, and give you our best asylum tips. But we record those 2 sessions. The video and the audio we're going to provide to you, as well as the transcripts and AI-generated summaries of those 2 practice sessions. So after you do the practice sessions, you can keep benefiting from them up until the day of your interview because you can watch them again. You can listen to them. You can use the audio file, the MP3, and listen to it, while you're doing the dishes, while you're exercising, while you're walking the dog, up until the day of your interview, just to be more familiar with the questions and the answers and to just really understand, to have all the details of your case present and to feel really prepared. So the sooner, Santiago, the sooner we do that, the more time you'll have after it to review those materials. Also, we're going to give you access to exclusive trainings that aren't available anywhere else. Okay? So the sooner you get access to those, the better. Let's talk. All right. Let's actually, in your case, Santiago, let's do it. You're welcome. Let's do it. Déjenos comenzar ya. Listos. Nice. Okay. Oh, nice. Kevin says, I've already spoken to one of your team members. This is on TikTok. Kevin says, I've already spoken to one of your team members, Jose. Nice. Yeah, Jose is awesome. Hold on. Let me search for your other comment, Kevin. I'm not finding it. I'm not finding what your comment was, Kevin, but I'm glad you talked with one of my team members. And I hope that they have. I hope Jose was able to answer your questions and explain to you, everything that you needed to understand and tell you all about how we can help you. So I hope it was a good experience. Look, the consultation that we do with prospective new clients, with people who are calling us seeing whether we can help them and trying to learn and understand that where they're at and what their possibilities are. It's a pretty intensive consultation. It's a little bit uncomfortable because we're gonna ask you a lot of questions about your case. And these are uncomfortable questions, right? It's hard to talk about some of these things. And it's long. We don't do a 15, 20-minute consultation that you'll see with a lot of other law firms that is incredibly superficial. Our consultation, or what we call our asylum strategy session, it lasts almost an hour, 50 minutes, 50. It's it's long, it's intensive, it's detailed, because we think that's the best way to really get to know you and understand your case, to then be able to analyze and tell you whether we think we can help you. And if so, we want to explain in detail how. We want you to know exactly what we plan to do, what our strategy is, because most of the law firms, they don't really have a strategy. They don't really have a plan for helping you to pursue your claim, for helping you to present the strongest case possible. But we think that's what sets us apart, is that we actually have a strategy. We have something that we call our Asylum Action Plan, which is a framework that we developed based on my experience working for 11 years for the government's two main agencies for asylum and refugee matters. And we're going to take the facts of your case, take your case, and we're going to fit it into this framework and come up with a concrete plan to to give you the best possible chance to win your case. That's the bottom line. All right. That's what we do during a consultation, and it's pretty long and pretty intensive, but we want to try to make it as pleasant as possible for you by providing you good service and being empathetic and kind. So I hope that you had that kind of experience with my colleague, Jose. So thank you for commenting about that. Look, guys, if you want to talk with us, we would love to speak with you. The first step in possibly getting our help is a consultation. You can schedule that at winasylum.com. 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 That's where you can schedule the consultation. Friend Bonahmed says, what's the acceptance rate for asylum in DC? Do you have a law firm in DC to talk in person? Your interview is going to be at the Arlington Asylum Office in Arlington, Virginia, and they have a fairly high approval rate. It's not the highest in the country, but it's pretty high. It's better than being in the South. So it's pretty good. We don't have an office in there, but even if we did, we don't do consultations in person. Even like we're based in Houston, even for people that are living in Houston, we don't do the consultation in person. We do it by video conference or telephone. I prefer video conference, but telephone can do as well. All right. So yeah, wherever you are, we'll do it by video conference, but it works. I promise you, it works. Check out our Google reviews. We've got several hundred Google reviews with an average star rating of 4.9. People are happy with how we do this. It works. All right. Go to winasylum.com to schedule a consultation. Morkanuma, sorry if I mispronounced that, says, I want the interview prep. Do you also talk to my attorney to understand my case and get the files? I mean, the thing is, what this person's getting at is that they already have a lawyer and they're asking if we can do the preparation for them, even though they already have a lawyer. And presumably they want to keep using that lawyer. They want that lawyer to be the lawyer who represents them during the interview. And this is an important point, is that that's fine. We can do that. We do the preparation for people that already have a lawyer. You don't have to hire us as your lawyers. If you want to keep your lawyer and have them be your lawyer, that's great. You can hire us just to do the preparation, because we do the preparation in a way that your lawyer will not. Okay. And other lawyers love it when we do the preparation of their clients because we help them win. We increase their chances for success. And so that lawyer looks good when you end up winning your case, right? So they love it. All right. So we can do that. But Morka Numa wants to know, in those cases, do we talk with the attorney to understand the case and get the files? We won't talk with the attorney, but we'll ask you to upload the files. So before the mock interview, we ask you to upload to a shared Google Drive folder 2 different PDFs. One containing a scan of all the documents that you've sent to the government in your case, your application, any evidence you submitted, anything you've sent to the asylum office. but then also then a separate PDF of everything you've received from the government, all the notices, all the letters you've received from the government, and then the attorney uh, from our side who is going to do your consultation with you will review all those things before the practice interview, and they'll use those. Like if you submitted a declaration, they're going to be testing you against that declaration. Okay, they're going to be they're going to have your declaration up on the screen on their computer screen during the interview and be testing you and checking and seeing whether what you say is consistent with what's in your declaration, just like the asylum officer is going to be doing in your real interview. We do that during the mock interview, during the practice. Okay. That's how it works. If you haven't checked it out yet, Morkanuma, you can find more about exactly how this works, exactly what we do, and why I think it's so valuable on this website, asylumprep.com. Go to asylumprep.com to learn more about our preparation service. We call it the Mock Asylum Interview Experience, or for short, we just call it the Experience. You can learn more about it at asylumprep.com, asylumprep.com, asylumprep.com. All right, that's for anyone who wants preparation, which is the most important part of your case. That's the most important thing. Practicing for your asylum interview, the practice is more important than what you say in your application. It's more important than what you say in your declaration. It's more important than the evidence you provide. It's more important than having a legal brief from a lawyer. It's more important than country conditions information. It's more important than having a lawyer represent you on the day of your interview. It's more important than all of that. The practice, the preparation is the most important part of your entire case. And it's something that I think we do really well and that we've developed a great program around. Okay, it's not just a single mock interview that we do. It's a full-scale mock interview followed by a separate debrief session where we give you our feedback and tell you how to do better. But then we also give you the recordings of those 2 practice sessions so you can keep studying them and keep learning from them. And then we also give you access to a few trainings that are not available anywhere else. Okay, preparation trainings that you're not going to find anywhere else. We give you access to all this through like a internal client customer portal. Okay, that's how we help people maximize their chances for asylum success. And if you guys want to learn about that, you can go to asylumprep.com and learn all about it. We've got like a long video followed by a really long webpage explaining all about this stuff at asylumprep.com. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today. I'm Brian Manning. I'm an asylum lawyer. My law firm helps immigrants all over the country to secure their future in America through asylum. And we would love to talk with you in a consultation. If you want to do that, go to winasylum.com to schedule your consultation now so that we can get to know you, understand your case, tell you whether we think we can help you, and if so, explain how. Okay, winasylum.com is where you can do that. All right, guys, thank you, and everyone have a great Monday. Hope your week gets off to a great start. Until next time. Until next time. I'm Brian Manning, and it really is an honor and it's a pleasure to support you in your